Hi, my name is Daniel Patz. I am the senior pastor at Faith Church in Linden.
I'm Molly, married to him. We have 5 children, ages 22 down to 14. I feared having my sin exposed. I don't think I ever really had the space to talk with anyone honestly about my own sins, or to have someone really speak truth into my life in a biblical context, a grace-filled relationship, discipleship relationship.
There was a concern about my time and how much time would this take, and do I have the time to do that? That was definitely on my mind, and yet I quickly saw how helpful this was to our relationship with each other and to God.
We had to go through a process of confessing sins to each other in front of them. Have never done that before, but it was really helpful to be known with another couple that were older, more mature, wise in their faith. One of the most impactful parts of our study together with our disciplers was going through the section on fear and the checklist on fear, especially as it related, it exposed lots of fears for me with my kids, which then also revealed that there were things about that I held in an idol type level with my children. And I think fears and what is ruling your heart often go together. You're afraid of what's going to happen to that idol.
Another level of fear as a pastor in a church is fearing what people think about you, fearing whether you're going to be a failure, feeling fear over things that, when you start to realize, really control some of the decisions that you make, that boy, that is really not helpful. And in those chapters, boy, it exposed, and I take the fear, and I've already mentioned control, and idols, and they all just work together, where I fear certain things because I want to be in control, but the reality is I'm not in control.
To be able to go through the checklist and specifically name everything, and then to go through the process of God, even if this, I still trust you. And really being able to release those fears was very freeing to me. And I saw an impact in the way that I started relating to my kids. Instead of relating to them out of fear, I could relate to them with a heart that's trusting God, and allowed me just to love them and come alongside them.
This time of discipleship just kept reminding me of how good He is, how sufficient Christ is in order to conquer my fears. Let me surrender control over to God, and to be able to hear Molly speak that truth into my life, and for me to speak that truth into my wife's life, was so helpful. Continues to be helpful, both as a pastor and as a parent. I've been a pastor for over 20 years now, and I don't think I ever used a curriculum or a set of materials to walk through a couple that got so deep in the relationship with that other couple in such a helpful way than when we started to do CTO, that I saw how immensely valuable it was, and it was so worth our time to invest in that.
One of the challenges I think ministry couples can face is when you're upfront leading, it's an upfront in people's eyes. It's easy to kind of tend to let our own things take a back seat. So it really, I think, was helpful to be discipled as a ministry couple and really deal with the real brokennesses that we have.
We have begun to get CTO going into our church. Myself and 1 or 2 other leaders have been trained in that and are mentoring and discipling other couples and individuals. Our churches need pastors and pastors' wives who are constantly being loved and humbled by the Word, by the truth of Scripture and of the glory of Jesus Christ in practical ways that gets them on their knees and confesses their sins and delights in the forgiveness of Christ, delights in His acceptance to us. Churches need that, and I'm so thankful for it, and I look forward to seeing others in our church blessed that way.